Uh, Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Today is Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024, and this is our weekly Administrative Matters meeting. We'll begin at 9 a.m. with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join us as you are able. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Wonderful. Thank you again. My name is John Kafalis, Commissioner from District 1, current Chair of the Board of County Commissioners, joined by my colleagues, Kristen Stevens from District 2 and Jody Shattuck McNally from District 3. Across the way, we have Tessa Beatty from the Clerk and Recorder's Office. As everyone knows, this is a public meeting, and we do our due diligence to record the notes, as well as the meeting is available through the YouTube channel, I believe. Lori Cadridge, our Assistant County Manager, Tom Clayton from our Public Affairs Office, and of course, Sarah Martin from our Commissioner's Office. With that, we'll begin with public comment. And according to Sarah's April Fool's joke, we had a lot of people lined up for public comment, but apparently a little bit late on the April Fool's. It doesn't look like anyone has signed up in person. Sarah, has anyone called in or registered yesterday to participate via telephone?
No, Commissioner.
Thank you. Before we close public comment, this is another opportunity. If there are folks that are really have a great desire to share their thoughts for 3 minutes, you're welcome to come forward, even if you haven't signed up. Going once, going twice, 3 times. All right, we will close public comment. The next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes. Commissioner Shattuck McNally, that's yours.
Thank you, Commissioner Kafalis. Mr. Chair, I move to approve the minutes for the week of March 25th, 2024.
Thank you. Proper motion. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that passes 3-0. We have, Sarah, would you update us on next week's draft commissioner calendar?
This is the Commissioner's schedule for April 8th through the 12th, 2024. On Monday, April 8th, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be a work session for a quarterly update on the American Rescue Plan Act in the Commissioner's conference room on the first floor. From 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual Forest Health Council Leveraging Resources Committee meeting. From 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., there will be a work session with Leslie Ellis, Director of Community Planning, Infrastructure, and Resources, in the Commissioner's conference room on the second floor. From 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., there will be land use items with the Development Review Team. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it'll be in the hearing room on the first floor or virtually via Zoom. On Tuesday, April 8th, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be an Administrative Matters meeting in the hearing room on the first floor. From 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m., there will be administrative direction to county management in the Sprague Lake Conference Room on the second floor. From 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual South Platte Basin Roundtable meeting. From 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis may attend the Environmental and Science Advisory Board meeting in the Carter Lake Conference Room on the first floor. On Wednesday, April 10th, from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., Commissioners will attend a meet and greet for the Behavioral Health Services Director candidates in the hearing room on the first floor. From 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual National Association of Counties Energy, Environment, and Land Use meeting. From 2:15 to 4 p.m., Commissioners will attend a questions and answers for the Behavioral Health Services Director candidates in the hearing room on the first floor. On Tuesday, April 11th, from 7:30 a.m. to 10 a.m., Commissioner Stevens may attend the Fort Collins Downtown Development Authority Board meeting at Innisphere Ventures at 320 East Vine Drive in Fort Collins. From 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., Commissioners Stevens and Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual Colorado Counties, Inc. Steering Committee meeting. From 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual Larimer County Interagency Oversight Group meeting. From 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Office on Aging Advisory Council meeting at the Larimer County Loveland campus at 200 Peridot Avenue in Loveland. From 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual Fort Collins Urban Renewal Authority Committee meeting. From 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m., commissioners may attend the Counties and Commissioners Acting Together all-member meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it'll be at 110 16th Street Mall, Suite 1300 in Denver, or virtually via Zoom. On Friday, April 12th, from 7:15 a.m. to 9 a.m., commissioners may attend the Counties and Commissioners Acting Together legislative breakfast at the Colorado State Capitol at 200 East Colfax Avenue in Denver. From 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., commissioners may attend the Colorado Counties, Inc. Steering Committee meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it's at 800 Grant Street, Suite 500 in Denver, or virtually via Zoom. From 9:30 a.m. to 12 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Colorado State University College of Liberal Arts Democracy Expo at the Laurie Student Center at 1101 Center Avenue Mall in Fort Collins. On Saturday, April 13th, from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m., Commissioner Kafalos will host a community conversation for the LaPorte community. Guests and topic will be announced prior to the meeting at Mio Mai Pai, 3310 West County Road 54G in LaPorte. And from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., Commissioners Kafalos and Shattuck McNally will attend the Foothills Unitarian Church ribbon cutting event at 1815 Yorktown Avenue in Fort Collins.
Thank you, Sarah. Colleagues, do you have any questions or feedback? Commissioner Stevens?
Yes, I do. On Monday, April 8th, let's see, I have, okay, sorry. The National Association of Counties Transportation Committee and Subcommittee meeting from 10:30 to 11. That just got added. And then, for further clarification, the meeting on Thursday, April 11th, the Urban Renewal Authority meeting is a Finance Committee meeting. And then on Friday, I may be attending the powwow that's happening in town, but I don't know the hours for that yet.
I do.
Oh, and Commissioner Kafalos knows them, so thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner Shattuck McNally.
Thank you. So on Wednesday, April 10th, after the finalist questions, I will be going out to the ranch for a farewell celebration. So I just want to make sure that in case we all end up there, that and that would be from 3 to 5 at the ranch. And I'm not sure which room, so but it's out there. And then also I will be attending the powwow on Friday, if it's in the evening and the day, and then also actually I think that's it. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
Thank you. A couple of adjustments that I would offer. I will be attending the Northern Colorado Intertribal Powwow Association. It's their 30th anniversary. It runs through the weekend. It looks like all three of us will be there on Friday night. I believe the ground blessing is at 4:30, and then the first grand entry number 1 is at 7, and I've been asked to address the group. So I think we'll be there at the Northside Azatlan Community Center. The following morning, April 13th, regarding the LaPorte community conversation, that will be at a different venue than Mio Mai, because our topic will be to give LaPorte community members another opportunity to voice their opinions around the proposed Poudre School District consolidation facilities discussions. So we're anticipating a bigger crowd, and we'll be giving folks another opportunity. And we can talk more about that once we figure it out, Sarah. And then finally, regarding April 10th, the retirement or the celebration for Mark at the ranch, I was planning to attend after the behavioral health community gathering. And I thought the time was something like 3 to 6, but we'll have to check on that. Thanks. Anything else, colleagues? Okay. Then, moving right along. This is where I get to do my consent agenda soliloquy. So, for those of you who may not be in the know, this is our consent agenda. It's typically matters that are routine, administrative. The details are online. I try to go through it in an efficient manner, and the commissioners, the three of us, have the opportunity to remove something from the consent agenda if we so choose. So, here I go. Pay close attention. First, we have abatements, and there are 3 petitions for abatement or refund of taxes where folks are getting money or a reduction in excess of $10,000. There are 3 of those under abatements. Then we actually have 5 petition for abatement. This is having to do with adjusting the assessor's value, and in this case, the assessor reduced the value based on various discussions. There are 5 of those under the abatements category. Then there are 19 also petitions for abatement or refund of taxes, various properties, parcels, and this is where the assessor upheld their value. They did not reduce it. Would you like me to go through all of those? No. Okay. And that gets us through the abatements. We now move on to agreements. And again, not to diminish, they're all very important, especially for the particular property owners. Regarding agreements, the first one here on the consent agenda is a professional services agreement, P24-03, unpaved road maintenance, Storm Mountain PID, Public Improvement District. Approval of an agreement for the performance of miscellaneous non-paved road maintenance and construction services for the Storm Mountain folks. The term is April 1, 2024 through May 31, 2025 between the county and a particular company, and the total dollar amount is $200,000. The next item is a drainage easement agreement between Larimer County and McReynolds Estes LLC. This has to do with, as I said, a drainage easement agreement, and this begins April 2nd today in perpetuity. There is no dollar amount associated with that. Moving right along. Number 3, participating agreement between the County of Larimer and USDA Forest Service, Arapahoe and Roosevelt National Forests, and Pawnee National Grassland. This is with our land stewardship folks, an agreement that pays Larimer County the Weed Control Enterprise Program to manage noxious weeds in the Cameron Peak Fire footprint. Cameron Peak Fire footprint. The term is 2024 through 2028. The dollar amount between the county and the U.S. Forest Service is approximately $176,000. Item number 4, ballot box lease agreement between the City of Fort Collins and Larimer County. This is an agreement between the two entities' jurisdictions to install a ballot box at 1801 Riverside Avenue, which happens to be the Epic, where the Eudora Pool Ice Center is. So there'll be a ballot box installed there. There's no dollar amount, and this goes from February 1st of this year through January 31, 2029. The last agreement, LC and Mythics agreement terms 032824 final. This has to do with computer stuff, Oracle database platform, agreement for ongoing platform moving to cloud-based hosting from the current on-premise solution. Term is today through a year from now, April 2nd, and the dollar amount here is approximately $390,000. Moving on to liquor licenses. Wait. Let's see, we have 4 of those, I think. Yep. Liquor licenses, the first one is liquor license renewal, for the Best Western Plus Loveland Inn. This is a tavern-type license approval and issuance. The next is a liquor license renewal, the Hang Loose Liquor in Loveland. Retail liquor store license approval and issuance. Liquor license renewal, Gordon Creek, the Inn at Gordon Creek up in Livermore. Hotel and restaurant approval and issuance. Finally, liquor license special event, Estes Park Quota. There's a 6% special event liquor permit approval and issuance. Finally, we get into miscellaneous. There are 4 of the items are stipulations. This is, again, an adjustment to this is a little bit different than the petitions for rebate, abatements or refund of taxes. This is where there's an adjustment in the property value between the property owner and the assessor's office. So there are 4 of those. Finally, a legislative priority request for HB 24-1360. This is for us to take an official amend position. There are some amendments we would like to achieve with that particular bill. And if you're wondering what that bill is about, that has to do with establishing the Colorado Disability Opportunity Office. And we're seeking to amend that bill. And thanks to our Human Services folks for helping to keep us informed of these matters. With that, colleagues, do you all want to take anything off the consent? Then Commissioner Stevens, how about a motion to approve, please?
Okay, Mr. Chair. I move to approve the consent agenda for April 2nd, 2024.
Thank you kindly. Proper motion. Further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That passes 3-0. Then we move on to commissioner guests. Nothing is listed on the agenda, but we do have guests, and I will turn it over to Commissioner Shattuck McNally, who can introduce our guests.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I know many of you have heard about this great announcement, but I wanted to invite Department of Natural Resources and their team because Dalen Figgs and Megan and all of the team, I think there's Zach and Justin, I'm not sure. Oh, there's Jen. Because to me, there's been some great news, but I wanted to emphasize the grant that we recently received and the DNR applied for, the $1.5 million grant from GOCO, Great Outdoors Colorado, is a big deal. And I think it really speaks to our values as a county, but also it just shows the tremendous work and dedication for this staff and for our county for conservation and preservation and connecting our folks to nature. And we've had a chance to be at the all staff meeting last week with this DNR staff, and it's a big deal. And it's not just writing a grant and filling out the paperwork and turning this in. There was some more steps in this, and I wanted them to kind of speak to that today, and they brought their big check, which I'd love to cash that. No, I can't get started. But I wanted to kind of share a quote from Great Outdoors Colorado as they invited us to come. It says, and this was announced on March 15th, I believe, when they had all the snow. And we luckily, because it was going to be hard for me to squeeze that in to drive down to Aurora and back, but we were able to attend virtually. But they said, please be there for this great news. We're celebrating big investment in partner-led projects across the Centennial State. The kind of projects that will make your great-great-grandkids say, thank goodness Colorado did that back then. And we have several of those projects in Larimer County, and I just think it's really cool that we we can say we have one of those special centennial awards. So I was hoping the staff would come up and share a little bit about this. But the board awarded these awards. They were like the largest ever singular investments in trail stewardship, research projects, and significant land conservation awards. And it was significant awards for the top priority. These were the top priority open space projects in some of the most Colorado's most scenic areas. So I wanted to just kind of let staff come up and bring their big check and share again about this is a special award. And so all these folks work together, and our partners also with City of Fort Collins and City of Loveland. And I just wanted to highlight this once again and just be able to publicly thank them again for this tremendous honor and award. Thank you. So I don't know who's kicking this, Megan or Dalen? Dalen? Thank you for being here.
Good morning, Mr. Director and colleagues. Would you please introduce yourself appropriately and accordingly for the record?
Good morning. Dalen Figgs, Director for Larimer County's Natural Resources Department, and I'll let staff introduce themselves as they come up. But this is the team that wrote a successful grant, and as Commissioner Shattuck McNally pointed out, it's a big deal. It's a big deal for us. It's a big deal for the county, and really the legacy that we leave, for our kids and grandkids. And I think the quote was very good. Megan I think is going to show a picture of the property and describe a little bit about the grant and its significance. So thank you.
And Megan, I hope you brought your picture so the public can see. So some people haven't got to see these pictures. Thank you.
Yeah, great. I might need a little help with how to do that. But while we're waiting to pull that up.
Who are you?
I'm Megan Flanagan with the Natural Resources Department.
Thank you.
And we were just really excited. I think you know that we had to act pretty quickly to be able to conserve this property that's at the mouth of the Big Thompson Canyon. And it's one that had been on our priority list for over 25 years. And we'd worked with the landowner over those years, hoping that we could conserve it in some way. And so sometimes you have to work quicker than you think, and it didn't allow us our usual process of being able to go through Great Outdoors Colorado and other partners immediately. So we had to kind of do that after the fact. And we knew this would be a project that Great Outdoors Colorado would just fall in love with, given some of their priorities and our longstanding relationship with them. To date, in Larimer County, across the whole county, all entities, we've received about $60 million of Great Outdoors Colorado funding. Our Larimer County, our department has received about half those dollars. And so when we took Great Outdoors Colorado up to see what was previously called Heaven's Door, we're currently just calling it the Blue Mountain property till we officially name it, they fell in love with it too, and we're pretty excited to invest $1.5 million back into the acquisition. We also had partners with the City of Fort Collins and the City of Loveland in the acquisition price, and they'll hold a conservation easement over the property in perpetuity. So with that, I'll see if anyone else wants to add anything, and then we'd love to get a photo with you all in the big check.
Thanks, Megan. Do any of your other team members wish to offer some insights here? So this is a big deal, for sure. Hey, Zach.
Good morning, Commissioners. I just wanted to...
Who are you, by the way?
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm Zach Wiebe with the Natural Resources Department. Thanks for that reminder. Several of you have touched on our relationship with GOCO, and I just wanted to add that GOCO has a really unique cycle at the moment. They call it their Centennial Grant Award, and they really allocate that dollar amount to fund these large, once-in-a-lifetime projects that are special enough to raise to that level. And we didn't submit it in that cycle. We submitted it in the normal open space cycle, but GOCO staff, after review and consideration, thought it worthy of elevating up to that category. And so I just really think that highlights how special this property is and how important it's going to be for our community when we can open it. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. Anyone else, colleagues? All right, well, otherwise we'll let I imagine Commissioner Stevens may have something to share or questions.
And we do have a check to present, and we can do that at a moment you would like us to do that.
Yeah, I'm sure that at the appropriate time we'll pause and we'll do one of my favorite activities, which is to have my picture taken. Commissioner Stevens, anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, just want to say congratulations, and thank you, Megan, for sharing the amount that's come to the Larimer County through GOCO. It sounds like around $30 million just to Larimer County itself, and then $60 million when you include the municipalities. So that's a remarkable number. That's a great investment in our community, in addition to the dollars that the voters of Larimer County have entrusted to us. So that's why we're able to do such great things. This is a beautiful property. I think you got it on a very green day, the picture. It looks, hopefully we'll have some of that greenery around this spring. But yeah, just congratulations. I think what folks don't know, and you touched on it briefly, but is the building that relationship with some of these landowners, and how how important that is, and how long that takes to build that trust and that relationship, for folks to know that we will take care of these properties in perpetuity, that we will care for them as they have cared for them. And so I think that's a piece that a lot of people don't know. We don't just write a check and go out and buy a property. We foster relationships over, decades sometimes to acquire the properties that we think are valuable in our community. So that's a lot of work, and I thank you all for that. And then the partnerships, which is crucial. We have this property is not very close to Fort Collins, and yet Fort Collins is still a partner in this property, and because it's in our region. And so that regional cooperation is sort of crucial to protecting these important lands in our community. So thank you again. Congratulations. Can't wait to take a picture of the big check. Commissioner Shattuck McNally said she'd like to cash it, but it won't fit in any of our wallets. So I think we'll just have to take the photo. Thank you all.
Thanks, Commissioner. I'd like to say a word or two, and of course, gratitude for all the amazing work that you guys have done over the years. I think this is an example of a tremendous achievement regarding protecting open space, and I think it aligns well with our recent survey results, our lands, our future, where there was a big emphasis placed on conservation, protecting natural habitats, elk and all the other critters that run around over there, and the plants, as well as being available for recreation and access in the next year or two, I think. So I think that's important to mention. And also it's important that this matter of open space, I think the first time we passed the sales tax initiative was in 1995, I believe, and it was renewed twice. And in these times that can be somewhat perhaps polarizing, this is an example of a community value where pretty much regardless of where you are on the political spectrum, this is something really, really important to the folks who live in Larimer County. So you all deserve a lot of credit. Thank you. Lori, is there anything you'd like to share before we maybe take a picture? I'm hoping that we can just, unless you have more to share.
Just have one other statement.
Oh.
One other.
Well, let's go to Lori. Give Lori a little chance here.
Thank you, Commissioners. I would just echo your comments and then add to, this isn't the only kind of grants that this team applies for. And we could not do a third of what has been done for the Department of Natural Resources without the good efforts made by our team in getting other funding to make this happen. And I just want to share my personal thanks for the work that you do and the relationships that you built in order to acquire these lands for the community's use.
Thank you, Lori. Before we go back to Commissioner, you reminded me that the county sales tax overall is 0.8%. 0.25% of that goes for open space and parks and all of the rest. And it's important for folks to know that there's a pretty meticulous process for determining how much of that money goes for a new acquisition, supporting. I think we're up to about 57,000 plus acres of open space protected land. But there's the balance between new conservation opportunities and also making sure that we can fix the trails and maintain things. So I think that's important to point out. Commissioner, thank you for being patient.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Lori, I'm echoing, I was just going to say what you said. this is a big deal and a very, I was at that celebration online, and to hear all the other projects and be included with some amazing projects across the state just shows again why this was such an important acquisition, and to receive that funding to go back in for us to continue the work. But the work is not done without an amazing, phenomenal team who works so diligently and so dedicated in building these trusts and relationships with our public and with our landowners. It's, to me, tremendous, and some of the, if I'm a little biased, but I think it's one of the best in the state. And the team you have built and the work that you do together and with our partners, I again want to thank the City of Fort Collins, the City of Loveland for their partnership in so many acquisitions and conservation easements. We couldn't do this alone. We do this as what I call the Larimer Way, as a collaborative partnership way. And I really mean it. This is a legacy, just kind of like Red Mountain and Soapstone and some of those. This is a legacy piece. And just wanted to make sure we highlighted that, and just really proud to be a small part of this and just to share in this celebration with you. This is something that I will treasure for my lifetime. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. So with that, we will pause the meeting, and actually, I'm going to ask us to try to do the picture taking in 3 minutes. In 3 minutes, and if you have conversations afterwards, you want to give each other a high five, do it out in the hallway. Okay, we are back live, and we have various discussion items. It's a great morning, a lot of good things to celebrate. The first one is regarding proclamation for National Public Health Week in Larimer County, and I believe we have our Department of Health and Environment folks and our Public Health Director who are coming forward. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Gonzalez, Public Health Director. This is always an exciting time of the year, the first week in April. We are celebrating National Public Health Week, which is April 1st through the 7th. I have 5 of our esteemed colleagues over at Public Health, and I'll have them properly introduce themselves as they come up and talk a little piece about public health, national public health, and what does Larimer County Department of Health do every day to improve health and well-being within the county. You know, for over 25 years, the American Public Health Association has celebrated National Public Health Week as a time to shine a light on the contributions of public health and highlight issues that are important to improving communities' health. This year, our team is rallying around the theme of protecting, connecting, and thriving. We are all public health, and how appropriate, right? I mean, natural resources is part of public health. Getting people outdoors and exercising and enjoying our earth is certainly ways to improve our health. You know, public health is considered the invisible shield. For over 100 years, public health policies have extended life expectancy by up to 30 years. We not only work to make sure our neighborhoods are free from pollution, but that our food is safe to eat, our water's safe to drink, but also we foster partnerships in the community to address the social influences of health and health equity. We know that we're all interconnected, and we know that when we bring our community together, we can improve health outcomes. You know, our mission at Larimer County Department of Health and Environment is working to provide everyone the opportunity for a healthy life, and that's a key. We want to make sure everyone has the same access and they're not challenged with barriers where others don't. And we know that does exist, and we're working every day to reduce those barriers and build bridges. And we know that not one entity or organization can do this work. So last year I embarked on a tour, for lack of better words, where I went to over 17 boards, councils, and groups of community leaders to ensure that they knew public health, what we do, how we can help, how we can be a health strategist, our data dashboard, and how we can work together to improve health outcomes. You know what I learned last year on that tour throughout this amazing, beautiful county is we do have different challenges. However, there's one thing in common, that we all have a shared value on health, and that we all want to prosper and make sure our communities are healthy and have good well-being. So I think our dedicated staff here is helping to lead that way towards a healthier Larimer County, and I thank you for recognizing National Public Health Week. I'm going to turn it over to Andrea Clement Johnson, who serves as our Deputy Public Health Director, and she's going to hit on the Community Health Improvement Plan. So I'll turn it over to Andrea.
Thank you, Tom. And Andrea, welcome. Just when you folks are done with some of your comments, I'll ask the commissioner to read the proclamation. Then we'll do a motion and then see if there's any comments. And then we'll take a photograph or something.
Great.
Good morning.
Good morning. Andrea Clement Johnson, Deputy Public Health Director. Excuse me. Great to be here with you this morning. One important element of how we connect with our community members and partner agencies in a really responsive way has been the work that we've done on our 5-year Community Health Improvement Plan, or CHIP. A CHIP really uses a collaborative approach that provides community partners, members, leaders with a platform to identify and respond to the strengths, weaknesses, challenges, and opportunities that exist to improve the health status in our whole entire Larimer County community. This includes being really mindful of making positive changes among our populations who've experienced the greatest health inequities. So having a robust and community-led CHIP is really critical for developing policies and identifying real activities which will promote improved health. Our 2024-2029 CHIP, which is representative of the entire county, is currently being finalized and will focus on addressing 2 priority areas, including social connectedness and mental health. And these have been identified as crucial areas in the community by a variety of different community partners. Over the next 5 years, we'll convene with those partners in the community and we'll identify goals and implement strategies to positively impact these areas for everyone in every community. I'm now going to turn it over and let Erica share a bit about the events we have planned for Public Health Week. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Erica Cathy. I am the manager for the Office of Communicable Disease and Emergency Preparedness and Response. And as Andrea mentioned, I'm going to share a little bit about our exciting week. So we have throughout the week daily activities for our staff, including team building, employee recognition. We have volunteer opportunities, partnering with our academic health department partners at Colorado State University. And really our focus this week is to recognize and uplift our public health workforce. In addition, our staff are going to be collecting menstrual products and diapers to donate to the food bank so that these often overlooked items are available for our community. And then finally, we're going to be promoting the great work that we do in public health through social media channels and internally, and just making sure that the community is aware of how we protect them each day and provide everyone in Larimer County the opportunity for a healthy life. So I will turn it over to Nicole to share a little bit more about that work.
Thank you, Erica.
Good morning, Nicole Aguilar, Supervisory and Mental Health Specialist over Consumer Protection Programs. Our public health work focuses on helping people in our community have access to a healthy life, healthy choices, and a healthy environment. We work to ensure clean water quality, restaurants, schools, and childcare facilities. We're also working to address air quality through increased monitoring and tools to complete our investigations, and providing additional information to our community who are most at risk of respiratory diseases or complications. We also work to serve people by protecting them from vaccine-preventable diseases, and we ensure parents and young children have access to the tools that will make sure they have a healthy beginning, nutritious choices, and total health over their lifespan. We work to support policies that protect people in their communities and environment, providing effective and meaningful data, and we always incorporate an equity lens into every aspect of our work. Thank you. I'll turn it over to Chris.
Thank you, Nicole. Hello there, Mr. Manley.
Good morning. I'm Chris Manley, the Environmental Health Director. Our public health system is made up of multiple partners and multiple groups. Each serves an essential role in protecting our community. Public Health Week is meant to celebrate our entire public health workforce, from those protecting air and water to those supporting mental health and connections for our youth, to those keeping our community safe from outbreaks and emergencies, and everyone working in every role across our department. This week celebrates all public health staff working to ensure we have a thriving community. And I think Corey wraps us up.
Chris. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Corey Wilford with the Office of Communications and Technology. Like Tom said, public health creates an invisible shield that protects people in our community, even if they never walk through our doors. Because many elements can influence health, the realization that culture is a part of health helps our public health workforce to be respectful and responsive to the diverse needs of people in our communities. Learning more about public health issues within our communities and relevant cultural experiences will allow us the best possible solutions and the greatest opportunities to be the healthiest county possible, and will enable us to better serve our communities.
I'll wrap it up real quick. The 97, almost just under 100 public health staff we have employed here do this invisible shield work every day. You don't know it, but when you go to a restaurant, the food you eat, it's with the work and the partnerships with our restaurants. Our children in schools and the work there and safe schools and the work around mental health and our mental health task force, that's staff behind the scenes and all the work they're doing. All the nutrition work and the education work we're doing behind the scenes, it's called public health education. Preparing for the next emergency, we have staff working in that aspects. Diseases are coming in every day and we're making sure we're monitoring those and preventing any clusters or outbreaks. All that work together makes sure that we are healthy. And then we're taking that a step further, which we call Public Health 3.0, and really looking at those social influences of health. When we're looking at housing, food security, we're looking at income, we're looking at childcare costs, just to name a few, and how those impact health, and how we can work together in a community to improve those social influences, reduce barriers that often happen to our marginalized communities, and making sure they have the same access that everyone else has to health. That's what we're doing every day, and I appreciate that. Our staff, I celebrate our staff. They're very, very professional, take it very seriously. So thank you, and I appreciate that you guys are all recognizing our work. So with that, I'll close. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. So Commissioner Shattuck McNally, would you read the proclamation, the joint proclamation?
Certainly, Mr. Chair, and I apologize. I tried out my new sunglasses today and left my reading glasses on the dashboard, so we're going to give this a shot. So, okay. So our joint proclamation between the Board of Larimer County Commissioners, State of Colorado, and Larimer County Board of Health. A joint proclamation designated April 1st through the 7th, 2024 as National Public Health Week. Whereas each year during the first full week of April, communities observe National Public Health Week and recognize the contributions of public health, highlight issues that are important to improving our nation's health, and raise awareness about public health and prevention. And whereas the theme of National Public Health Week 2024 is protecting and connecting and thriving, we are all public health. And whereas public health includes making sure our neighborhoods and environment are free from pollution, making sure our food and water are safe to eat and drink, and fostering relationships in our communities to ensure the health needs of all persons are being considered. And whereas when our neighborhoods and communities are healthy, we all have the building blocks for healthy lives. And whereas having safe places to live, safe ways for everyone to be active, and easy access to fresh, affordable, nutritious, and culturally appropriate food ensures equitable opportunities to healthy living and excellent health outcomes. And whereas studies show that small strategic investments in public health can result in significant savings in healthcare costs. And whereas the Community Board of Health and the Board of County Commissioners of Larimer County each support the Department of Health and Environment's mission to work to provide everyone in Larimer County the opportunity for a healthy life. And whereas the vision of Larimer County Department of Health and Environment is that Larimer County is a thriving, health-aware community where everyone has access to healthy choices and a healthy environment. And whereas Larimer County Department of Health and Environment collaborates with partners outside of the health sector, including cities, educational entities, nonprofit groups, and private sector businesses to address the social determinants of health. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners of Larimer County, the Larimer County Board of Health, and the Larimer County Department of Health and Environment encourages everyone, including students, elected leaders, civic leaders, and residents to step in and do what they can to make our community a more equitable, safe, and healthy, connected, and inclusive place. And whereas the Larimer County Board of Health and the Board of County Commissioners of Larimer County both support the activities of the Larimer County Department of Health and Environment as it strives for a healthier future for Larimer County residents. Now, therefore, be it jointly proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Larimer County, Colorado, and the Larimer County Board of Health that the week of April 1st through the 7th, 2024 is recognized as National Public Health Week 2024 in Larimer County, and Larimer County Department of Health and Environment is encouraged to support appropriate activities in Larimer County to promote National Public Health Week 2024, and done this second day of April in Fort Collins, Colorado, as the Board of County Commissioners of Larimer County, Colorado. Mr. Chair, would you like me to read the motion too?
Yes, I would, please. Thank you.
Certainly. Mr. Chair, I move to approve the joint proclamation declaring the week of April 1st through the 7th, 2024 as National Public Health Week.
Thank you. That's a proper motion. Before we vote, colleagues, do you have any comments you wish to share? Commissioner Stevens?
Yeah, I just want to thank you all for being here today. Tom and Andrea, thank you for your leadership. You help our community stay healthy every day. I mean, you're unsung heroes, and I very much appreciate you. You kept our community safe during a pandemic. That is a huge thing. But you just never stop, and I appreciate your vision going forward. I really love the idea of working on social connectedness and mental health. That's extremely important. We know that by surveying our community and seeing what's around us, we share those same goals, and so we will work on that together. But just appreciate how you've always been open to ideas when we're talking about improving air quality. You know, you jumped right in and helped us figure out how to do that best, and so we're just grateful for the work that you do. We appreciate that you keep folks healthy, and a lot of people don't understand that, if people in lower income brackets sometimes rely on the health department for all their vaccinations for their kiddos, some reproductive health care, and so there's so much work that you do. I can't even believe that there's less than 100, just a little bit less, but less than 100 people that do all that remarkable work every day. So kudos to you, congratulations. Thank you for the partnership, and thank you for working on health equity, because we know that there's people in our community that just don't have the same access to good health care as some others, and that to me is a broken system, but you are working every day to make sure that system stays whole. So thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner Shattuck McNally, any thoughts you'd like to share?
Yes, I would. Thank you. So this proclamation really resonated with me for a lot of reasons. But something that you had said, and I think you all had kind of repeated this, that you every day protect the folks in our community in so many different ways. And I think someone said you were the invisible shield for our communities, and I don't remember who said that, but I was thinking, that is an invisible shield, but it's become a little more visible the last few years in the unprecedented times that we've been in, and maybe I think back to when I took 2017, the Larimer 101, and they were jokingly made a joke about the health department and kind of the powers, and that they could quarantine or place a quarantine on the community. And I thought, well, that will never happen. And even then I knew a little bit about all the things that public health did, but last few years, certainly your shield has become more visible, not fully visible, because I don't think people understand when they grocery shop, go to restaurants, all the things that we do and you do to protect our residents every day. Hopefully folks have a little more appreciation of the work that your wonderful team, very dedicated, hardworking, tirelessly working team have done. And I really appreciate this opportunity to highlight your work. I've actually been sharing some of your social media posts. Corey, I don't know if you saw that, but I appreciate that they're also in Spanish, some of the things you've set out. And I really want to thank you for that, to be proactive and have that going forward. And I appreciate the focus on health equity. We've been trying to blend and braid and make that kind of embedded in everything we do in our strategic plan. I'm glad to see that it's a focus of your work as well. It always has been, really. And I know some of the data that we're looking at and some of the places that we're overlapping, because Director Gonzalez, you are the chair and I'm the vice chair of our Regional Opioid Abatement Council, and the work that we do in overlapping with substance abuse disorders and the fentanyl epidemic and some of the things that we're all doing, we all overlap, and it's been a great partnerships as we look to fight and save lives. We're literally saving lives every day, and I think public health and our health, I think I want to make sure I use our correct title for you all. Larimer County Department of Health Environment is a science evidence-based backed department and team that strives to give everyone a safe place to live and to learn, to work and play. And I know that you improve the quality of life for all of our residents and help our children thrive and really reduce some suffering and some negative health challenges in our community. And you also, I think a really important thing to emphasize is being proactive and trying to help improve social determinants of health. We're saving the community money, our local government's money, and hopefully residents' money, because it is important to be proactive and upstream with our health. And I appreciate all the things you do on a daily basis. And for this work didn't just start. You guys have been working this hard for years. And there's a lot of great outcomes that I think are improving. And when we think about, there's certain areas in our county that maybe they have a little bit less life expectancy or a little bit different quality of life, I really appreciate our opportunity to target those and find out how we can help those folks have the same quality of life that is shared by everyone else in the county. So really excited to celebrate you today. This entire proclamation really resonates with me. And we don't just read these words. Every single one of them really resonates with me and rings true. And I just want to thank you all for being here. It's great to celebrate you all. And thank you for all the things you've done, not just only this week, but in the last decade. There's a lot of stuff to look back on and say thank you about.
Yes, well said by my colleagues. There's not a whole lot I can add. I do want to certainly say thank you to you all and your team, your 100 folks. Also do a shout out to our statutory Board of Health. They have an important role in these deliberations, so want to make sure that we're acknowledging the 5 community members that are part of our Board of Health and help these folks to make informed decisions about things. So I guess the last thing I'll say is, you folks are present at a lot of events, and that's really helpful so people can know what the resources are. But you're also behind the scenes, as has been stated, a lot of things that we take for granted, like when we go to the restaurant and we don't get sick because the food has been, we make sure that as best as we can that the food is safe, the water is clean, those kinds of things that we all take for granted in Fort Collins, in Larimer County, in this country, or at least in many places in this country. You folks are helping to make sure that that's the case. So with that, Lori, anything real quick? Real quick.
Thank you, Commissioner. 2 things that I wanted to mention. One is the important work that you all do in terms of collecting data. And Tom mentioned it earlier, but that data leads to important programs in the community. And one that I wanted to highlight is the work that the department has done in reducing suicides, especially teenage suicides in our community. And that was flagged through data from the hospitals. And then they were able to mobilize education programs and provide other resources to the community, which I think is critically important. And then the second thing, really quick, is to add to Commissioner Stevens' comments about how important the 2 categories are in terms of mental health and social connected. And they were so important. We heard it as well during our outreach for the county's strategic plan. And so now the department will be leading those topics with our strategic planning work, and we really appreciate that.
Great, thank you, Lori. And you're reminding me about the community health dashboard. Tom, by any chance, are you able to tell us how do people access the community health resiliency well-being dashboard? Do you happen to know the link?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for all the comments. Yes, it's larimer.gov/health. Right on the front banner of the health department website, you've got the health, well-being, and resiliency dashboard. All of those social influences of health, the 10 of them, the data is in there, and Dr. Jared Olson and his team, our population epidemiologists, are always updating that. We've received great feedback from the community because there's a feedback mechanism that Corey's created, and we keep adding to that dashboard and getting more information and data up there. But that's the key. We want our community, our civic leaders, our elected leaders, our anybody. You run the HOA and you want some data to make informed decisions, go to that dashboard and you'll see how Larimer County ranks. You can filter down even closer. You can see how the state and U.S. ranks, and there's some areas we're doing well and there's areas we need to improve. And so I think that's an important piece of all of this discussion.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you very much, colleagues. There's a motion on the table. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That passes 3-0. We'll pause for about 3 minutes or so to take a photograph. Thank you all. Welcome back, folks. So we have our second discussion item, which is another proclamation to basically declare April 2024, as we have done every year, as Child Abuse Prevention Month, and share some information. We have a couple of folks from our Department of Human Services, Office of Children, Youth, and Families, Andrea and others. Welcome. Come on up.
Good morning. It's nice to see you. I'm Angela Mee, Deputy Division Manager with the Department of Human Services, Child, Youth, and Family Services Division. I'm going to set up the PowerPoint here. Excuse me. Oops. So the children and families we have come to know in child welfare have faced much adversity. It is a collective community responsibility when planning for their safety, well-being, and the permanency of children. It takes a community that is inclusive, responsive, resourceful, committed, and strives for innovative ways to help them. As a 40-year employee working in child welfare, I'm proud to be part of an agency that partners so well with the community to protect children and serve families in need. Every year during the month of April across this nation, we recognize the importance of child abuse prevention, and we celebrate those who dedicate their careers to improving the lives of children, youth, and families. This year, as part of our celebration, we believe it's important to highlight the importance of prevention services in our community. Deb DeLuca Forsley is here to share with you a remarkable prevention service that's provided in this community. After her presentation, I'll spend a few minutes talking about how the department is celebrating the work of our staff and the community during the month of April.
Great. Thank you, Angela. Welcome.
Good morning. I'm Deb DeLuca Forsley. I'm the Program Manager with the Department of Human Services for the Community Collaboration Grant that's entitled Supported Families, Stronger Community. This grant we received it's a federally funded grant through the Children's Bureau, which we received in 2019. And this was in conjunction with many of our community partners. So this was not just done siloed within the Department of Human Services, but it was done with our community in terms of helping write the proposal for the grant as well as receiving and then pursuing our implementation and strategies to help prevent child maltreatment in Larimer County. As it is a federally funded grant, our research partner is Colorado State University School of Social Work Research, and they've been a great partner with us in helping us look at the data. As we all know, data helps us really continue to demonstrate the work that we're doing and how it's impacting the lives of children and families in Larimer County. This grant is aimed specifically at helping prevent child maltreatment, so we're asking to try to get to families and support them prior to crises occurring, as well as helping them reduce the stigma about asking for help. Many families, as we know, and individuals struggle to say, I'm struggling, I need help, and we're really working to try to change that language in this community and help them know there's a place to go before things get more challenging for them. The second part that this grant is really looking to address is how do we, as a community, learn more about each other's services and resources so families go to the right resource from the very beginning. What we heard in our initial stages of beginning to apply for this grant, the struggles families face when they are sent to a resource, a service in the community, and find out either it's not where they needed to be, they don't have the right documentation, they're not really in the right place, or the services don't meet their cultural needs. And we've really tried to reduce that as a community to say, let's learn more about each other so that we get families where they need to be from the get-go. The other unique thing about this grant is that we hired 4 community navigators. Those community navigators are very connected to their communities through lived expertise. We have 2 Spanish-speaking navigators, 1 Arabic-speaking, and the other was previously a foster parent, and so she brings that lens. So we have one that has lived experience in child welfare. She's raising her grandchildren. We have one that is from Iraq. He was with Doctors Without Borders. We have a pastor that's a Spanish-speaking pastor that was undocumented previous to being documented, so he understands what that process is like, as well as I said, a previous foster parent. So the four of them are very connected to their community and also have been just amazing in helping families understand. When they say, I understand, they really can understand what families have been through. So briefly, just to say the last final, I'll summarize a bit in terms of our project. It couldn't have been done without the support of this entire community. It is an amazing effort at trying to get in front of the problems that families face. As I sat and listened to the health department's presentation, it just dawns on me, this community is incredibly rich and wealthy in the connectedness and cooperations that we have between each other, and as we all do our part to try to serve families. The project to date has served over 500, we've had over 650 referrals to this project, and we've served over 500 families in some way, shape, or form in helping them connect to the community's resources and support that they need. And I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deb. Angela, is there anything else?
Yes.
And actually, I think the way I'd like to do this
Share
is,
some
in a moment, see if my colleagues have any questions. Keep it to the questions, and then we'll do the proclamation, we'll read it, and then we can offer comments if we'd like.
Okay.
Angela, please.
So Child, Youth, and Family Services provides a continuum of services to children at risk and their families. The 9 programs within our division work closely with families and community partners to keep kids safe, ensuring there's long-term safety and stability in a child's life. In the calendar year 2023, Child, Youth, and Family Services served 618 families. 886 children received services and were able to remain in their home. Prevention services were provided in our community throughout the 3 programs, Supported Families, Stronger Communities that we just heard about, and our 2 life centers, House of Neighborly Services that's located in Loveland, Colorado, and Matthews House, which is located in Fort Collins. Collectively, these 3 prevention programs served 915 families in 2023. So each year, our staff celebration starts with the creation of a branding and a logo. The branding and logo appears on the left-hand side of the slide here, and it's titled Hope for a Better Tomorrow. This branding is reflective of a new organizational vision that is being created to promote hope in our work culture and practice strategies that are hope-centered, and they focus on reducing the negative impact of trauma and adversity. We believe it's all about reaching new heights to improve the safety and well-being of families that we serve and to support our workforce who is doing such great work. We recognize there are different pathways to achieve safety and well-being, and it takes a hope-centered organization to get us there. The celebrations this year, we have a whole host of activities that are going on this month. The first one is a diaper drive. So as you know, of all the sundries that are necessary to care for littles, diapers are by far the most expensive. So for families on a limited income and who are faced with poverty, it can be a real hardship. So our staff are partnering up in a team competitive event to see who can donate the most diapers that will go to our families who are facing this hardship. Our department staff nominated an outstanding foster parent, law enforcement officer, and 4 children who survived domestic violence, and they acted courageously to protect their siblings and their mother. They all will be recognized at the Realities for Children Gala that's later this week. We will also host our all-staff event on April 26th. We had a record year of nominations, and we added additional awards in excellence that will be presented. Before highlighting some of the reasons people were nominated, I first want to just express the department's deepest gratitude for family members, natural supports, foster parents, human service agencies, community professionals who are all making a difference to meet the resource, support, and treatment needs of children and families in our community. At our celebration event on April 26, we will present 16 different types of awards, and they're listed here on the right-hand side of the slide. We will be recognizing 55 recipients who are staff and community members. We'll recognize their dedication, hard work, and impactful ways they are making a difference in the lives of children. 31 staff will receive awards for exceeding state performance metrics and their ability to provide the service in line with our county values of excellence, partnership, integrity, equity, diversity, and responsiveness. We will celebrate the resiliency of children and youth who have survived abuse and neglect and have the bravery to stand up against it. We will celebrate our youth who dare to be courageous. This year we had 2 youth nominated. A young lady will be recognized for her resilience, intelligence, and bravery in stepping up to save her sibling's life. Another youth was nominated for her ability to survive living in a household of domestic violence. She had the courage to tell the truth and seek help for her family. We celebrate the love and commitment of birth parents who have overcome adversity like substance addiction, mental illness, poverty, coping with their own childhood trauma, and human trafficking. We celebrate the care providers, Ken and Foster, who create a home and a safe place for those who have been placed in out-of-home care. And we will celebrate superheroes, our police officers, who are responsive in meeting the safety needs of those who live in our community. 5 officers were nominated this year, all worthy of recognition. The superheroes who did win was a lieutenant with Fort Collins Police and his wife, who opened their home and provided temporary care for a child who lost her mother in a tragic car accident. They helped to connect her with her surviving family in the country of Colombia after the tragedy. They also helped to raise money to host a funeral service for her that was done through Timberline Church. We will celebrate a community agency who has stepped up to overcome barriers in serving the needs of incarcerated parents. The Larimer County Detention Center will be recognized for their efforts in collaborating with the Department of Human Services to create a model for how incarcerated parents can have family time and visit their children while they're incarcerated. As you see, there is much to celebrate, and we hope you will be able to join us on the 26th. At this time, I'd just like to turn it back to you for any comments and the reading of the proclamation.
I'd like to, as I mentioned earlier, if we have questions at this time, please ask those questions, and then after we read the proclamation and before we vote on the motion, we can offer our comments. Commissioner Stevens, you have questions,
I just have
please.
one question,
Thanks.
Commissioner. Thank you, Angela and Deb, for being here. My question is about the Supportive Families Stronger Community Program, and I'm sorry with your foot that I'm making you walk back up. But so we had a grant, and it's not in perpetuity. It ends at some point. And do we have a plan going forward? Because obviously prevention is it's better, like you said, to head it off than it is to deal with it after the abuse has occurred. So what is our plan going forward, or do we have one?
Do you want to answer that question, Ted? We are really working hard together with our partners to see how, as in conjunction with the other agencies providing these services to families together, we can work together to continue to provide the services and increase funding. We're applying for some different grants within the community as well as other areas and working diligently because it really has had a tremendous impact. So I appreciate the question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I know that it's not easy to find funding, so yeah, but good luck to you, and
thank
we
you.
hope it can continue because it's a great program.
Thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner Shattuck McNally, a question?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to had similar question as Commissioner Stevens, but I'm going to build on to it just a little bit since you kind of answered part of it. And first, thank you all for being here today. And what an exciting program. I'm really grateful you received this grant and the partnerships you built, and I hope that we can continue it. But my question is, this is sometimes abuse or trauma is generational, and so it takes a while to break that cycle and to maybe stop that generational cycle. So you said you had 650 referrals and helped 500 families. And I'm sure they're staying connected, and some of them are maybe becoming empowered, and maybe it sounds like there's some peer-to-peer support and family navigators. So what kind of things, despite the funding or potential funding or the search for funding, how are we keeping some of those families kind of connected to the county or to all these services and to each other? Because this is a long journey together, and they can really help maybe smash the cycle and help others. And I didn't know what kind of, with this program, it sounds like it is meant to kind of plant a garden, but sometimes once the garden starts to grow and thrive, we have to still weed the garden, take care of the garden, help the garden, cycle through lots of seasons, if that makes sense.
Yep, it totally
Thank you.
makes sense. And I would say one of the things that this project has done that's really helped address not only the generational cycles of abuse, neglect, and even some of just the struggles to maintain housing or to maintain a job, to be able to afford to help take care of your kiddos. One is that this is an entirely voluntary project and program. Families can come back at any point in time. All they need to do is give us a call, and we'll be happy to try to support them again in whatever they tell us that they need, as well as one of the mentions that the health department suggested or that they're addressing is social connections. That's also part of what we're working on with families, is to keep them connected, if not within their own natural support system within this community. So if things aren't going well at some point, they know where to go to get those resources and help, and or to know to ask. So our hope is that by changing the language and changing the face of what sometimes is the most difficult times in their lives, to know that they can have a place to go, and they can make a difference by just reaching out and asking. And watching them be successful and being able to pay their rent again, getting a job, that is so fulfilling to so many of them, that they are continuing to find ways to address that and do it before it gets bad again, and keep on top of things. So that's our hope for continuing the work with families.
Thank you. Wonderful answer. Thank you.
My quick question is, can you explain to us the important role of grandparents in this whole equation? In particular, maybe a shout out to the Grand Family Coalition. Thank you.
Absolutely. We have so many families within the child welfare system, as well as within our prevention world, of other family raising their children, and oftentimes it's grandparents raising their grandchildren, and it can be very challenging. Mary Maldonado was one of our family navigators, and she, as you may know, and she's very well connected to this community, is a grandparent raising grandchildren. And she can speak from her heart about the challenges that she faces as you've raised your kids, you think you're done with that, and now here you are raising your grandkids. And so staying connected to resources, making sure grandparents have connections to each other, a safe place to talk about the struggles, because not only are they raising their grandchildren, they are their children's children, and it is very challenging at times to address what maybe your child didn't do, because as a parent, you feel some responsibility to that, and now you're raising their children. And so helping them stay connected and supported is extremely important, so that they too can take care of themselves while they're helping raise their children and grandchildren.
And the Grand Family Coalition?
The Grand Family Coalition, there are a couple of opportunities within our community. The Grand Family Coalition is one of them, which is, there's also the Namaqua Grand Families Program within the Summit Stone. And both these programs are available for grandparents to be able to attend in some form of support, and or sometimes beyond that in terms of connecting to resources within the community.
Great. Thank you kindly, Deb.
You bet.
Commissioner Stevens, would you please read the proclamation?
I will, Mr. Chair. So this is a proclamation for Child Abuse Prevention Month, April 2024. Whereas in federal fiscal year 2022, 3.1 million children received either an investigation response or alternative response, and whereas in the state of Colorado in 2023, 111,762 referrals of abuse and neglect were reported involving 171,718 children, 32,840 child protection assessments were completed, 15,101 children were open for ongoing services, and whereas in Larimer County in 2023, child welfare received 6,992 referrals of abuse and neglect involving 10,070 children, 1,628 safety assessments involving 3,009 children were completed, and 1,449 children received ongoing services. Whereas child abuse maltreatment is a fundamental problem affecting every segment of our community, and finding solution requires input and action from everyone. And whereas our children are our most valuable resources and will shape the future of the state of Colorado and Larimer County. And Whereas child maltreatment can have long-term psychological, emotional, and physical effects that have lasting consequences for victims of abuse. And whereas protective factors are conditions that reduce or eliminate risk and promote the social, emotional, and developmental well-being of children. And whereas communities must make every effort to promote and support programs and activities that create strong and thriving children and families. And whereas we acknowledge that we must work together as a community to increase awareness about child abuse and contribute in purposeful ways to promote the social and emotional well-being of children and families to live in safe, stable, and nurturing environments. And whereas effective child abuse prevention activities succeed because of the partnerships created between child welfare professionals, education, health, community and faith-based organizations, businesses, law enforcement agencies, and families. And whereas prevention remains the best defense for our children and families, now therefore we, the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Larimer, do hereby proclaim April 2024 as Child Abuse Prevention Month. In Larimer County, we urge all citizens to recognize and residents to recognize this month by dedicating ourselves to the efforts of improving the quality of life for all children and families.
Thank you, Commissioner. Please offer the motion.
Yes. I move to approve the proclamation declaring April 2024 as Child Abuse Prevention Month.
Thank you. Before we vote, that is a proper motion. This would be an opportunity for any comments, observations. Commissioner Shaddock McNally, would you like to go first?
Certainly. Thank you, Mr. Chair. You've also eloquently and so importantly stated the importance of this proclamation about the connections and importance of child abuse prevention is really about the not only the here and now, but future generations and the health of our community. And it's so interesting to have this kind of come after our Public Health Awareness Week. And also, libraries are coming after this, and libraries to me are like important community centers as well. And so I find it really, as I was sitting here thinking about this, I really didn't think about it last night because I don't think I was putting it all together as I did today, how these are all connected, and these are all community-centered, data-driven pillars in our community. And the welfare of our children and our families is really, a pillar for our community, for the future of our community to be thriving and inclusive, and our workforce, and there's just, the list goes on. And so I really don't think I could say it any better than you have all said it. It just, I've been watching some documentaries and some films online just at night just to kind of watch anything but other news. And it was really interesting. A lot of these films are really exploring some of this generational trauma or generational issues, and it was interesting, the connections and something that maybe didn't show up until later in their adult lives. And so I thought it was really interesting as I'm sitting here thinking about all of this, and thinking all these creative minds create all these wonderful movies, but I think this is actually people telling maybe some of their stories. And that we all have stories or things in our communities, and there's families with all kinds of experiences, and we have to honor and value and share all of those and help what we can to help everyone heal and be more preventative. So I have to just state, you two, along with our public health, are the unsung heroes in our communities. You also are the invisible shield. I don't think people recognize some of the most important work we do in the community, and as the county are being kind of honored today. And the work that you do is immeasurable, and just I don't know what else I could say. It just feels just very grateful that we have such amazing staff as you all, who are focused and dedicated, even come here with your boot on, and appreciate it. My son's walking through an airport with a boot on right now, so I know it's kind of rough. But I just wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, because it is about all of us. And when some of us are not doing well, our community is not doing well. So thank you, and just really glad that we're taking this moment to highlight this and honor this today. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner Stevens, any thoughts?
Yeah, just a couple. Just thank you for being here and thanks for what you do every day. As Commissioner Shattuck McNally said, it is some of the most difficult work that's done in our community, but some of the most important as well. So we appreciate you and your staff for all the work that you do and trying to prevent abuses. That's really the model we need to go by. So I'm looking forward to seeing how we can get some grant dollars to be able to continue that work. I love the idea that you're a hope-centered organization because I believe that's true. Keeping people healthy, keeping families whole, that is hopeful and important work. And just wanted to say, the proclamation challenges us all as a community to really do this work together. And I'm glad Commissioner Shattuck McNally mentioned the library because the library, is a good, that kind of social infrastructure that we have in our community helps people get resources and support that they need. I do find it ironic that you all are doing your own diaper drive because you're already doing, yeoman's work of the work that you do every day, and now your staff, and willingly so, is going to contribute diapers on top of all the work that they do. So I would challenge our community to also do a diaper drive and also know that the food bank does take diapers. And so if you want to help families that are struggling, because we know there's a lot of social and economic factors that contribute to abuse and that people are facing very heavy burdens and very extreme trauma, that like helping people's economic well-being is important, and diapers are really, really expensive. So I challenge our community to bring diapers to the food bank and join our caseworkers who should not be the only people contributing diapers in this space. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Can we bring reusable diapers, including cloth diapers?
I'm sure some people do use cloth diapers.
I seem to recall that. Thank you for your comments. I'll just add a couple of quick things and then see if Lori has anything to say. I'm sure she'll provide some good insights. I did pull off a couple of things from the Department of Human Services website, and in the proclamation there was a reference to the 5 protective factors, and I think it's important to highlight specifically what those protective factors are. And they include, and this is to reduce the likelihood of child abuse, parental resilience, social connections, concrete support in times of need, knowledge of parenting and child development, and as was referenced in the proclamation, social emotional competence of children. Our County Department of Human Services, Child, Youth, and Families works closely with the state and other partners. And I think that it's important to emphasize that this is a team effort. I think my colleagues have said that. Neighbors, community organizations, employers, people in the service industry, faith communities, and anyone can help strengthen families. The state has something called Colorado for Kids, which is a Department of Human Services statewide initiative to provide awareness about Colorado's child welfare system. It focuses on educating the public about the signs of child abuse and neglect while raising awareness. And of course, there is a hotline, abuse and neglect hotline, and that is 844-264-5437. And I guess in closing, and of course, gratitude to all the work that you do in collecting diapers and things of that nature. This is statewide, 97% of child welfare assessments of abuse and neglect, children and youth were able to remain in their homes while families are connected with supportive services. So I wanted to share that. Thank you. There is a table on the motion. There is a motion on the table. I think we're done with discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That passes 3-0. Oh, sorry, Lori, you can come back on the rebound and share.
Thank you, Commissioners. The thing that I wanted to highlight is we've talked a lot about the support that we provide to families who are needing our support, obviously. But I wanted to showcase Heather O'Hare's leadership as the director in providing support to the staff. I'm aware of the programs that have been implemented the last couple of years, and including the peer-to-peer work that's being done, because this work is so incredibly difficult for people to do day in and day out. And I really appreciate her leadership and Thad's leadership in making sure that our employees are healthy and well as well. Thank you.
We will pause now and take a bit of a picture. We have a proclamation. And again, thank you all for your amazing work. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, we're back. Again, a very good morning. A lot of things to celebrate in a lot of areas that are important to our community. The next, we have a proclamation declaring April 8th, 2024 as Library Workers' Day. And Lori, did you want to cue this up, or should we just have Diane and other folks come up?
Commissioner, I think my name is just on there because I submitted the document on their behalf. And so I think we can start with the representatives from the Poudre Library District.
Okay, why don't you all come on up and share what you'd like to share. Then I guess we'll follow the format. We'll do the proclamation, we'll read it and make a motion and do pictures. Hello.
Hello, I'm Diane LaPierre, Executive Director of the Poudre Library District, and I'm here with my colleagues on the library executive team. Ken Draves is our Deputy Director, Katie Alman, Communications Manager, Amy Lyons, our Budget Manager, and Sabrina Leslie, who is our HR Director. So we're here today to celebrate National Library Week, which is next week, and Library Workers' Day. And I'm also here on behalf of my colleagues with the other Larimer County libraries in Red Feather Lakes, Wellington, Loveland, and Estes Park. So just want to say our mission for the Poudre Library District is to create opportunities and build connections to strengthen our community. And it was interesting to hear the other two proclamations and all the wonderful things that happen in our community to support our residents and to try to create those connections and support folks through library services as well. And I also want to briefly mention that tomorrow is Library Giving Day, and if you have an opportunity to be in the Old Town area, we're doing a story stroll, actually all month, and our sidewalk readings by Open Stage Theater from 1 to 5, and our electric bookmobile. Evie will be in Old Town from 3 to 5 p.m. She's turning 1 year old this month. And I'm saving the rest of my remarks for when I'll be back here at the end of the month to deliver our report to the community. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Diane. Do any of your colleagues have anything they would like to share? No? Okay,
We're
then,
the silent library types.
yes, be very, very quiet. Let's see, I believe, Commissioner Shattuck McNally, is it your turn to read the proclamation?
Yes, it is, and I'm
Okay.
very excited to read it. I was looking at my EV sticker today. I grabbed a couple extras, so I'm glad, because they're starting to get worn in the dishwasher, but super fan of EV. So I'd be very proud to read this proclamation for the 2024 National Library Week and Library Workers Day, April 8th, 2024. Whereas public libraries are accessible and inclusive places that foster a sense of connection and building community, and whereas libraries have long served as trusted and treasured institutions for all members of the community, regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or socioeconomic status, and whereas libraries are cornerstones of democracy, promoting the free exchange of information and ideas for all. And whereas library workers play an important and unique role in the communities that they serve by providing an inclusive environment where all are treated and with respect and dignity. And whereas it is important to recognize the unique contributions of all library workers and the value to individuals and society of those contributions. And whereas a steady and inclusive stream of recruits to library work is necessary to maintain the vitality of library services in today's information society. And whereas libraries and library workers and library supporters across America are celebrating National Library Workers Day, sponsored by the American Library Association. Therefore, be it resolved that the Larimer County Commissioners proclaim Tuesday, April 9th. So there's two different dates here. Is it 9th in the proclamation, 8th, so I'm assuming it's the 8th.
I believe, is it which day is it, Diane? April 9th, April 8th?
It's Tuesday, whichever the date is
then
that
that would
goes
be
with the
April,
Tuesday.
April 9th.
Yep, April 9th.
But feel free to appreciate library workers on Monday and Tuesday.
I think that is a great suggestion. We'll celebrate 2 days. April 9th, 2024 as National Library Workers Day. We encourage all in this community to take advantage of the variety of library resources available and to thank you, library workers for their exceptional contributions to American life, dated this day. The Board of County Commissioners of Larimer County. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'll make that motion. I move to approve the proclamation declaring April 9th, it's written as 8th, but I'm going to say 9th.
Commissioner, I believe that this is written for National Library Week, beginning
Okay,
April 8th.
Okay,
And then the
apologize.
day is April 9th for celebrating the workers.
Okay, thank you for
Apologize for
clarifying.
the confusion.
Thank you for clarifying that, because I was like, there's 2 dates, so I appreciate that. So I will read this again. I move to approve the proclamation declaring April 8th, 2024 as National Library Workers Day.
Week.
And I guess we should also proclamation for the National Library Week as well. Add that to the proclamation, the motion, sir.
Well, the proclamation itself states that, that's fine. So thank you, Commissioner. Before we vote, proper motion, any comments, Commissioner Stevens?
Okay, well, I will say that I celebrate you all year long. So I'm not just going to save it for a week or a day. I probably have talked about my love of libraries for a long time, so I'll try to keep it short. I am in the library at least once a week. I need to go tomorrow because I just finished a book and I need to bring it back so other people can check it out. The work that you do is amazing and so important to our community, and it's not just about checking out books, which is my favorite thing to do, but there's all the programming that happens. I mean, my kids literally grew up with Mother Goose Storytime, And and my daughter is now a library worker, so I can celebrate her as well. But the kind of programming that you have and, goes across all different kinds of groups. So whether you're helping teens or helping people learn about history of our community, helping people how to engage in civil conversations and preserve our democracy. I mean, the work that you do is amazing. The work you do to protect and make sure that books aren't banned in our community is great. Like I said, I celebrate everything you do. For me, it's a kind of a sanctuary in a way. It's a place that I can go where I know that that things are going to be good. I can work on a puzzle, or I can check out a book, or I can just sit there and enjoy the quiet. And so I'm so grateful for the spaces that you create in our community that help people and that you all pretty much know everything too. And so I know you get calls every day that ask for information. And so you are the true resource. Don't go to Google, go to the library. They can help you find correct and good information that you need. And so thank you all very much.
Thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner Shattuck McNally.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's interesting. Last night we called to check on my daughter, and she was studying at the library at college. It's her safe place to go, and they have a couple different libraries. In the last year, I've taken some tours of some pretty historic and recognizable libraries across the world, including the one at Trinity College in Dublin, which is under renovation. But I've seen that library 3 times. It's like a must-see. I wish we could actually take some of those books and look at them because it's just amazing. And some of my warmest childhood memories are sitting in my public library in Longmont, sitting in this old tub. I think I've shared this story before with all the pillows, and grabbing some books as my parents went to find their books, and just hiding inside that tub, looking through the books as I got ready to check them out. And something even with my childhood, raising my children and having summer read programs, and reading books to get that ice cream cone coupon and those things. It just really ties into not only my childhood, but becoming a mother and just future generations, and really important. And some friends posted a picture that I will now admit that I took with an alternative motive, but we're standing in a brand new library, but we're all holding a book that was attempted to be banned in one place or another across the country. And it was kind of a silent statement of just the importance of pushing back against book bans, because they're all books that, for me, we're in this library, and it's just important to recognize that the importance of libraries and the importance of access to information. And I want to thank you for all your work, for providing me with some wonderful fond memories and treasured experiences as a youth and growing up in Longmont, but also just for my children and continued for my children being able to to study and explore libraries. Matter of fact, when they were researching colleges or experiences, one of the things they always looked up at all these different colleges, what the library looked like. And that, believe it or not, that was something that was on their list of, do they have a good library? And I think that spoke volumes to me about how important libraries and the safe spaces they provide is important. And I know we could talk about all the list is long of all the things you do for the community, but they're so important. But this one really kind of resonated to me. I kind of looked up a quote last night, because there's just tons of quotes about librarians. And I have some childhood friends that are librarians, and I'm hoping they're listening in today. But it's by Sidney Sheldon. I don't know if you know this quote, but libraries store the energy that fuels the imagination, and they open up windows to the world and inspire us to explore and achieve and contribute to improving our quality of life. And since I picked that quote kind of last night and this morning, because of all these other things we've talked about today, it was interesting how this all aligned. I don't know if that was purposeful, but it just seemed to line up pretty well. But you are also a very important pillar in the community that and partners and collaborators that really contribute to the quality of our life and our communities. And my heartfelt gratitude. And I do not get to the library often enough for my books, but I certainly enjoy exploring them, and that they are historical places and should be considered as, monuments, in my opinion, some of these libraries. So thank you all for being here today. Really grateful for this proclamation, and grateful to celebrate you and all the work that you do on a daily basis to make our communities wonderful places to live and to contribute to the future of our country with inspiring folks to live and learn and to grow, and keep on growing throughout their lives. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner. So I have a couple of quick comments, but I'm going to begin with my jingle. I still remember it growing up in New York. The library was really important, but I don't think I'll sing it. Commissioner Stevens wants me to sing it.
I would love to hear it.
I'll try. Well, can we go on a, no. Oh, the place for you and the place for me is your local public library. They have books and things that they lend for free. It's the latest, it's the it's the greatest, it's the library. Boy, that's a first in the last 20 years. Boy, thanks a lot, Commissioner Stevens. So I wish I could benefit from the library as more than I can, but I'm grateful that others do. Yesterday, my 6-year-old granddaughter was at the library with my wife, Beth, who watches her and learns from her. And, Commissioner Stevens, in addition to puzzles and things of that nature, when you go to the library, they also have squirrel scavenger hunts. And so you may want to consider looking in their schedule when the next one is scheduled. So I think I've said enough, but I do appreciate all the amazing work. My goal in life someday is to actually read more fiction. We'll see how successful I am with that, but I do appreciate you. Lori, do you have anything you want to share before we vote on the proclamation?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to give a special shout out for your willingness to consider a new program with our Department of Natural Resources, and let you know that backpack checkout program is growing each year that we've had it, and more people are able to explore both the library where they get it and then the outdoors where they use it. So thank you.
And again, Laurie, thank you, because you remind me of things, but I also wanted to mention very quickly that another role that the library plays is being out in the community a lot. There was a reference to Evie turning 1 year old. I mean, I think it's great that you go around the county with Evie and in other ways. It was great when you all showed up at our block party in the Martinez Park neighborhood last August, and we're planning another one, and hopefully we can schedule Evie to come back. I mean, so that's another way that you all contribute in amazing ways. And then, of course, you have a very serious capital improvement plan, master plan that you're working on to try to expand the services accordingly to our community. So with that, there is a motion on the table. And again, to clarify, it's to declare April 9th as Library Workers' Day, but the week beginning April 8th, whatever the end of that week is, that's a National Library Week. So with that clarification, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that passes 3-0. We'll pause for a moment and take a photograph. Thank you all. Thanks for your patience. We're back. Again, it's been a very good and interesting morning. A lot of good work. We're now in the agenda where we get to hear from our county manager, or in this case, our assistant county manager. Lori, is there anything you wish to update us on?
No, sir, there isn't.
Well, way to go, Lori. No, and of course, our county manager's away for a bit, and thank you for stepping up and providing more than able leadership. So we'll now go to the commissioner activity reports. And just as a reminder, we do have an executive session, legal matters. No decision is expected, so that just to remind us of that. Let's see. How about Commissioner Shattuck McNally?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I appreciate, Lori, that you're covering, and hope that Lorinda is having a splendid time while she's away. And we thank you for all the great work you've done already in just the first 2 days. There's a lot been going on. I wanted to just share a few things. We have a lot going on. As we all know, we have all been working really hard, and we had there's a lot of meetings. I won't go into all the details, but with our counties, commissioners and counties acting together, and our Colorado Counties Incorporated and our CC4CA groups, there's a lot of legislative discussions and a lot of bills that are, and I won't go into all of them, but there's just a lot happening. And I know we've been all testifying and being involved with that. So I just wanted to kind of acknowledge a lot of our meetings the last few weeks, and especially last week was a lot of this information. So I'll just start on Tuesday. We had just a mother proclamation, or bringing the our Behavioral Health 2.0. Sorry, I have all these proclamations, but it's our Behavioral Health Master Plan 2.0 was brought up to Estes Park, and it was well received. And I want to thank the town board for their very thoughtful questions and great reception of that 2.0, and Laura Walker for her work to run around all the different municipalities and share about our Community Master Plan for Behavioral Health 2.0. And it was just been really important to get that out to the community, and I appreciate how well it's all been received. On Wednesday, we went to the North College Business Association meeting with business owners early in the morning, and it was really exciting to see kind of the Hope Outreach team and the Fort Collins Outreach team present and share some of their data. The Hope Outreach team is actually, I didn't realize was a pilot program, and so they were asking for a lot of feedback from the business owners. They reach out and help folks that are they're experiencing being unhoused in Fort Collins, and try to help them get to resources and see if they want to be housed, and help to kind of de-escalate any situations. And so I think that was really important, and a great chance to get those updates. And the meetings continue, and I did share as part of us, sometimes we get a chance to share as the county, that program with the street outreach is actually funded with a grant from the Larimer County Behavioral Health Services. So a lot of the work that we hear from some of these teams is actually received and getting funding from our behavioral impact grants. And so it's just really nice to see all that connection. And the other one actually was still getting a little bit of the opioid abatement. Some of the stuff they were doing had some opioid abatement settlement grant money. So it's just interesting to see that overlap and that connection. And I just wanted to share that with my colleagues, because a lot of this work that we're all doing is so blended and braided with funding, and just even like the GoCo grant, it really takes a village and a team and all of us working together to see these great outcomes in this work. And I think in last week that was reinforced for me in so many different ways. I then went and attended on Wednesday the spring all-staff meeting for the Department of Natural Resources, was almost right next door as the Azatlan Center. And I just want to thank Director Dalen Fix and his team, Megan, and all of them just had an outstanding meeting. I found it really inspiring and hopeful. They shared some of the results of our Lands Our Future survey. They rewarded the new employees with a little thank yous, and also welcomed some new employees, which was exciting to meet. We have some new folks that have joined their team, which is exciting to celebrate. They also talked about the the grant that we talked about earlier today, and I had to leave a little early, so I missed some of the Topher's presentation on accessibility versus usability, and I thought it was a great presentation. I actually have heard him speak before in Boulder County, so it's exciting to see him come up to Larimer County and share his wonderful wisdom and experiences and his insights. And I really am looking forward to getting even more updates about the work that he's doing. And so I wanted to say well done to the DNR staff for a fantastic meeting. I truly enjoyed my time spending with them, and that was really inspiring to hear from Topher and some of the other staff. So I did meet last week with the Johnstown Heights Behavioral Health team really quick. They have a whole new management team at that center in Johnstown, and they're just looking to make some connections. I think they have changed ownership again, and so they just wanted to reach out and make connections with the county. But pretty much all new director and staff and people running that facility. So I just want to make sure my colleagues were aware of that and knew that I think that's changed a couple of times since we've come on the board. So I wanted to share that with you all. On Saturday, Thursday is a pretty busy day. We had I attended with Commissioner Stevens, our county's commissioners acting together, natural resources, wildfire, and transportation meeting, which still kind of is weird how we combine those two, but it's important to kind of maybe make these meetings all into one. And we discussed a lot of bills. There's a lot of stuff happening at the end of the session. And, I think we took another position on some bills, but it's just a lot happening. And it's just too much to share because their bills are moving at a fast and furious pace. And I think they're on track for close to 600 bills again this year for the state legislature. So if you haven't been able to track that as a member of the public, I hope that you're looking at Tracker, Bill 50 Tracker, and all of those other things. And all that information is on the website of the General Assembly. Lots going on. We attended our Regional Opioid Abatement Council meeting, and very exciting to be on that council. We had some great presentations and some data sharing of our first year reports from our first year of grant funding from the Northern Colorado Health Alliance. And I have to say I'm very impressed with some of these year-end reports. The data they're sharing and the numbers, it's just really exciting to see and to share. We also had some presentations from we're giving out some funding to help with sober living and for increasing some housing, especially for women in maybe the southern part of the county, for housing for women who are looking to have some safe and sober living places as they work their way through substance abuse issues and disorders. And so I wanted to share that with you all. Also, the sheriff's Larimer County Sheriff's Office and the co-responder program. And shout out to Sergeant Cook and Lieutenant Van Hook for their wonderful work, but they presented and received another year of funding to continue the expansion of the co-responder program. They're able to now respond to over 53% of the calls with the co-responder program. That was, if you remember a year ago, I brought that up. That's why we wanted to use some of the opioid abatement money. It was only able to respond to about 27% of the calls for these co-occurring conditions of behavioral health with mental health and substance abuse issues or substance issues. And just wanted to share that's really tremendous work to go and almost double it, basically. If it's over 53%, it's almost doubling the outreach. And really, they showed I wanted to share a significant data point that I hadn't considered before. If you look at the 78 sheriff's officers who are out in the field and how much time they're spending out dealing with calls, and then you look at the 6 or 8, I think there's 6 or 8 people now in that department, and the amount of time that they spend on calls, they almost have more time and hours in those small 8 people dealing with calls and follow-up than the other 78. And so I have that data if you'd like to see that. It was pretty dramatic to see that they spend more time with folks and help divert them from criminal justice systems, but help them get into resources, and then they follow up with calls afterwards the week after for follow-ups and making sure that if they weren't ready at that point to get resources, they are in the future. And so I just thought that was an interesting data point that we haven't all seen, that I will be more than happy to share that piece of data with you all, and just congratulations to them. And we're also still looking at combining the child intervention, youth crisis intervention team within the schools, which is the co-responder, and the work they're doing with the Connect Effect with the Colorado Attorney General's office. And we haven't signed it yet, but we're looking to give some funding from that Opioid Abatement Council to this Rise Above Colorado, which is actually trying to highlight, even do more work, that Connect Effect with prevention for youth for fentanyl and opiate prevention, abuse and prevention. So that will be another kind of collaboration, and I wanted to share about that. We had a meeting with our broadband bill is still progressing through the state legislature, and I'm proud to say Senator Hansen and the state Senate is going to be sponsoring that bill, and it's going forward. And so just want to kind of give my colleagues an update on that. Really proud to attend the ribbon cutting for the Murphy Center. I brought my little ribbon today. It was very exciting to be there and cut the ribbon with the Murphy Center and all the partners, Summit Stone Health Partners and Homeward Alliance and all the folks. What a beautiful, great clinic. And Sister was there, and just really appreciate her being there. I'm always amazed at her resiliency and her strength. And she was there, and everyone was super excited to have her there for the ribbon cutting, and it was quite the honor. And as you know, Larimer County, I think it was $1 million, contributed that to that project for that clinic to open. And I'll leave that. Maybe my colleague Commissioner Kafalis would like to share a little bit about that as well. We have our open lands meeting. Advisory board meeting on Thursday night. We are now meeting at Horsetooth, and it's a really well-attended meeting. A lot of folks end up coming online, but they all were there that evening. And we kind of dove into this survey results that we heard as a board yesterday of Our Lands, Our Future. And again, we celebrated a little bit with the Centennial Grant and the Go Great Outdoors Grant, but lots of things happening and great work from that team. And again, that's why I wanted them to come today, just to get a chance to celebrate this really important grant that they got, and just grateful for the decades of work that they've done. We had our CCAT meeting again on housing and fiscal reform. A lot of discussion about the property tax bills that might be coming out, and that's interesting conversations for us all to be having. And those meetings there's just so much happening. It's just too much to share here. I did go up to, residents invited me up to Livermore Friday evening. We had about 20 people come. It was a very lively conversation. I was supposed to be there for an hour. I stayed for almost 2. A lot of people wanted to be heard, and I really appreciate the warm hospitality from all of them. That was at the community center, and for a Friday night, Good Friday, I was really pleased with the feedback and the information, and it was great to meet some new folks, but also some of the same faces that I've known and see for a while. It's pretty exciting. For Saturday, I attended a celebration of life for a person who has struggled with being unhoused and substance abuse disorders, who got sick a few weeks back and went into the hospital for breathing issues and then did not come home. And so I was invited along with some other electeds on Saturday to join a barbecue and kind of a celebration for life. A lot of the folks in the crowd rode their bikes or come that are members of the community, unhoused community in the southern part of the county. But there were a lot of people who do street outreach and peer-to-peer counseling. There was a lot of folks who had known this person. I had gotten a chance to meet him a couple of times as well when he was housed. And I just wanted to kind of comment on this because it was kind of a really poignant and heartbreaking time to celebrate in Loveland. Just the amount of people that came, that this person's life he had touched, and the people that had really come together trying to help him and others stay housed and help get resources, and kind of just remind us how important housing is to health. Because I do think he was been 50 on Saturday, so it wasn't planned, but Saturday would have been his birthday. But it just kind of a good reminder, being housed and staying housed, and the programs that we do really impact people's health and longevity or life, quality of life. And it was just a heartbreaking reminder of that. So I wanted to share that with you all. And I think that's all I have to share. I just wanted to share about that community celebration. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Stevens?
Yeah, I'll be brief. I know we have a session. Also attended the Department of Natural Resources staff meeting last week. We had a great presentation by Topher Downham, who is a person who is disabled and is paraplegic, and talked to us about making trails more accessible. We had a fair board meeting that same night on Wednesday, where we discussed the fair. So things are coming along with regard to the parade and the pancake breakfast, so hope everybody will attend that. I also testified in support of Front Range Passenger Rail, which should come to fruition hopefully in the next few years. So I testified to support some funding that would go towards that, and that funding would come from car rentals. So I think, that's moving forward, and excited about that. On Thursday, we had our non-attainment area air pollution mitigation enterprise. I was voted in as chair for a second term, so I'll be chairing that board for another 2 years. We will likely have a call for funds from that program in September, so we'll look forward to that. The first round of funding should be small funding for communities to access, so think sidewalk connections or bike connections. And we will probably do a larger call for funding maybe next year. I also got to tour the Teen Activity Center with a couple members of Congressman Negus's team to see the kind of work that they're doing, both at the Center for Family Outreach and the Teen Activity Center. They are doing great work. They're hoping to get some additional funding in this legislative session so they can continue their programming, but they're doing a lot of programming around art and music and really doing some great work there. So that was great to see. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. In light of the time and that we have a legal matters discussion, I'm going to pass. With that, Commissioner Stevens, I believe it's your turn. Would you be kind enough to offer the proper motion to move us into executive session?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I move that this board go into executive session pursuant to Colorado Revised Statutes 24-6, 402, 4E, for determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and instructing negotiators relating potential business personal property tax rebate pursuant to Colorado Revised Statutes 3011-123.
Thanks, Commissioner. That's a proper motion. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that passes 3-0. And again, as a reminder, we will not be making any decisions. We will not be returning. Thank you, Justine. Thank you, those from the community that are here. And thanks for our security folks.